Robots Radio presents
Fresh Tomatoes, the movie podcast.
Hey, I can look at myself naked.
Are you stoned or something?
They tried stoning me, my dear. It did not work.
He likes to create his own sauce.
Well, did you sleep with a man who also slept with Mom and Grandma Catherine?
What? You slept with Dad?
All right. Which one of you sardines called this meat?
Whatever, Major Loser.
Let the party begin!
Hello, and welcome to Fresh Tomatoes, the movie podcast. The podcast that looks at your childhood and goes, yes, that's why you're the way you are. That's Simone LaRue.
And that's Chad Ekowitz. Lovely, on the nose, succinct. I liked it.
That's why I'm going to be good in court situations because, yeah. It wasn't like I was thinking about it for the whole week at all. Like it just,
you should say that in court too.
Yeah, that will fly real well.
Oh yeah, my whole opening statement was just improvised. I don't know. I just came up with it on the fly. I'm so chilled, you guys.
And then I skateboard out of there.
Wow, he's so cool. His client definitely didn't commit murder.
You know what? The legal system isn't that far off in terms of ridiculousness. So
honestly, if the glove doesn't fit,
you must acquit. Good Lord. Okay, everything is fine. We're all doing fine. How are you?
You know what? I'm great too. I did a wine tasting this afternoon. I am pretty sleepy now because the car ride back, I just hit that dip, but I'm drinking an iced coffee. And we're going to get through this. We're going to get through my childhood.
Yeah, this is, if you've never listened to this podcast before, it's a psychology podcast where neither of us are trained in this area, but we just look at Simone and we try to figure out her traumas. And then hopefully, within like 5 to 10 years, we'll get it sorted out. And she'll be a much healthier person. Yeah. But for those of you who have listened to this podcast before, that is not the truth. We take 2 movies every week and we say really nice things about them because the world is sad enough and we need to inject some happiness into it.
Oh boy.
And this week is no different. Instead, this week we are going to be doing something super fun. We're taking movies from Simone's childhood and doing those.
We sure are. And this week we are doing 2 total gems. We are doing The Swan Princess and we are doing Quest for Camelot.
I can't believe these escaped my childhood and I'm so angry about it.
I feel so bad for you.
Like, what kind of childhood is that, really?
Poor.
And yeah, I mean, look, from watching these 2 movies, I understand you a lot more that even, 5 years of friendship hasn't revealed. But it's nice to see the origin story.
The foundation.
Yeah. You know how like when they make Spider-Man and Batman movies, all like people want is origin stories? Yeah. Like they just can't have enough origin stories. Yeah. That's all they want. Now I found out your origin story.
I don't know if that's true.
What, are you bored of Batman's origin story? I'm
Oh my God. If I never see Martha getting shot in the face again, it'll be too soon.
They really do like to. It's not like there's many other Batman stories, like 40 years worth of Batman stories or anything, right?
The pearls falling to the street and the juxtaposition between the richness of the pearls and the darkness of the wet cement below. Fuck off.
This is why I think we've gone too far around, and now with our love of bad movies, we just can't take a good movie seriously anymore.
Look, I don't think any of us are convinced that Batman versus Superman was a good movie.
Oh yeah,
except for Zack Snyder, who's like, no, you guys, with my cut and a bunch of reshoots and a bit of recasting, guys, it's gonna be so good.
Is that not the ultimate dying on a hill that you've ever seen?
Apparently David Ayer is like, oh, I also want to show my cut of Suicide Squad.
Oh no, baby girl.
Let it die.
Let it die. Let it die. It's fine.
It wasn't your movie. Just let's move on.
Yeah, exactly. So talking of moving on, it is your week. So and the fact that you're also are you drinking any alcohol this week,
or
are you just strictly ice?
Nice cold coffee.
Nice. Sober up a bit.
Mm.
But I think because we are diving into your childhood, you get to choose who goes first this week. But I will mention that I am drinking a nice Bailey's, just because it's lovely. Yeah.
Nice and smooth.
Nice and smooth.
You know what? You go first. Let's get Quest for Camelot out of the way because I think we can both agree that Swan Princess is the real star here.
It really is. It really is such a beautiful film. Yeah, we'll gush about it, but let's talk about King Arthur.
Let's do Quest for Camelot.
Quest for the Camelot. Okay. Quest for Camelot follows the story of Kaylee, voiced by Jessalyn Gilsig. Good lord, straight off the bat, that's a name.
Oof.
And her family. Her father is a knight of the Round Table, under the rule of King Arthur, voiced by Pierce Brosnan, wielder of Excalibur, the mythical sword in the stone. When Kaylee was still a young lady, her father was called to a meeting with Arthur and the other knights. At that meeting, King Arthur decides to divvy up the lands of England to all of his knights in equal amounts. Unfortunately, one of the knights, Sir Ruber, voiced by Gary Oldman.
I didn't realize it was Gary Oldman!
Yeah, I know, me either. There are some names in this film. Wait for it. It's
Holy
crazy.
shit!
So Sir Ruber, who must have have been knighted for his chaotic bisexual energy, disagrees with Arthur, believing that he should get more lands than the other knights. Ruber tries to kill
And he
King
gives
Arthur.
no reason for that, by the way.
hence the chaotic bisexual energy. 'Cause he's just like, I want this. It is mine. So Ruber tries to kill King Arthur, but in the process kills Kaylee's father instead. King Arthur survives and banishes Ruber from Camelot. Many years later, Kaylee, now as a young woman, is struggling between her duty to her mother and being a young lady of the court and following in her father's footsteps as becoming a knight of the Round Table. That's when disaster strikes. She gets a word that Excalibur has been stolen, and with that, King Arthur and Camelot are essentially defenseless. It turns out that a mythical griffin, voiced by Bronson Pinchot, attacked King Arthur and stole the sword. But that sword was then dropped from the griffin's talons over the Forbidden Forest due to a swift attack from Silverwing, Merlin the Wizard's prize hawk. Surprise, surprise, the griffin actually belongs to Ruber. Over the last couple of years, he has been hatching a plan to steal Excalibur, kill King Arthur, and take over Camelot as the new king, bringing an era of chaos and bloodshed. The fact that the griffin has dropped the sword in the Forbidden Forest kind of disrupts Ruber's plans, so now they have to go hunt for the sword before storming Camelot. Apart from the sword, in order to storm Camelot, they force Kaylee's mother to act as a sort of Trojan horse to get Ruber and his gang into the city. Kaylee, overhearing all of this, decides to chase down the sword, find it before Ruber, and return it to King Arthur so he can defeat Ruber. She runs off to the Forbidden Forest where she meets Garrett, voiced by Carrie Ewells. Again, these names. He lives in the Forbidden Forest as a hermit because he is blind. Turns out he used to live in Camelot until he became blind, and Kaylee's father actually tried to teach him how to be a knight, even though he was blind. Unfortunately, no one else would train him after Kaylee's dad died, so Garrett's dream died with him. Garrett reluctantly agrees to help Kaylee navigate the Forbidden Forest in search of Excalibur. On their journey, they meet up with a two-headed dragon named Devon, voiced by Eric Idle, and Cornwall, voiced by Don Rickles, who helps them out too. Even though they are able to retrieve the sword, Ruber steals it from them and with the use of some sort of magic, binds the sword to his arm so it cannot be separated. He then kidnaps Kaylee and takes her to Camelot. Ruber and his gang storm Camelot and things are looking pretty bad. That's when Garrett and the dragon jump in to save the day. Through a clever trick, Kaylee and Garrett are able to lure Ruber to the stone from which Excalibur was pulled. With some fancy footwork, they are able to get Ruber to stab the rock, returning Excalibur to the stone, which then undoes the magic spell and essentially kills all of Ruber's goons. Ruber is then defeated, and King Arthur gets Excalibur back. In the end, King Arthur makes both Garrett and Kaylee Knights of the Round Table, they fall in love, and everyone lives happily ever after. The end.
The end. What is your cliffhanger?
So it has to be this scene, and it's the first scene where the griffin speaks. And I think this scene, amongst all the scenes with all the side characters, is why this movie is perfect, because the side characters just really make it so much fun. The chicken,
definitely.
the metal chicken is great. The griffin is great. The two-headed dragon, just fantastic.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. The If I Didn't Have You is one of the catchiest songs in the whole movie, if not the catchiest song, actually.
It is so good, and it's just the fact that it like goes through like 4 different genres is just fantastic.
Yeah,
it's so lovely. Yeah, and I mean, what an interesting movie. Why does this stand out in your childhood for you? Like, amongst all of them?
I don't know. I watched it so many times as a child. I think obviously I liked like there was this brave little girl who like
Mhm.
is doing her thing, and she meets some hot blind guy in the forest who she basically annoys into helping her. And she makes all these friends, and she kind of learns along the way that like, hey, like the fact that she's tough and scrappy isn't necessarily enough, and sometimes she does need to just
Mhm.
like chill out for a sec and let other people take over with their expertise. And then the blind guy realizes that like he needs to get over his hangups because sometimes he's the only thing holding himself back because he's actually very capable. And then the
Mhm.
two dragons who are just so funny, and I don't know, it's just I also just loved Camelot stuff when I was a kid. So anything
Yeah.
with magic, swords, like, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And I mean, for our non-YouTube listeners, you should definitely check out the YouTube this week because Simone is proper wearing the most wonderful white top that is very Camelot-esque. It's wonderfully puffy shoulders. It's got a really nice neckline.
Yeah.
She looks fantastic.
Thank you.
Like, hit it up. Yeah.
Thanks.
And I mean, yeah, like I said at the beginning, you know, this I can see why you are who you are now when watching this movie, and obviously Swan Princess, but this movie as well.
Yeah.
Like I know your love of Camelot and King Arthur myth, and then just this scrappy young lady who doesn't know whether she wants to just like be a lady of the court, or be like this fighter.
But also
And that's
boys
just
are
you all
hot.
over. Yeah, and also boys are hot, and you're looking for your blind capable man. who you can fix, but also doesn't really need fixing.
No, who also maybe
Yeah.
fixes you.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, Kaylee could just be Simone, to be fair.
Just a little annoying. Little, I can do it. Tiny fists.
Tiny fists of rage.
I do think Ruber is a great villain. Like, I think what a lot of movies these days lack is just a villain that's evil for the sake of being evil. He doesn't have a tragic backstory. He doesn't have some complex motivation. He wanted land.
No.
King Arthur wouldn't give it to him. Instead of like, I don't know, doing petitions, going through the red tape, saving up money to buy some land off of one of the other knights, he goes straight like for trying to kill Arthur
Murder.
while he's surrounded by the best fighters in the land. And then he's like really bleak that didn't work out, so he like disappears, learns magic, and constructs this really elaborate plan to become king instead of like fucking off somewhere and just taking land from like literally anywhere else.
He is the best villain of all time. Like his little sexy song about bringing back chaos and evil is just so wonderful.
Do you know who I
particularly-
actually imagined in the live action version of this? Who I imagined playing him, and he's
Who?
gonna kill me for saying this, is our dear friend David Alt.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, David actually would be perfect for this. Oh my god, I
feel
could
like
see
he'd
that.
nail it.
Yeah. He would do that. He would do it proper justice, I reckon.
Yeah. But I love
see
that this was Gary Oldman, because Gary Oldman killed it.
Right? Like there are so many great voices. Pierce Brosnan in this as well. What the fuck? Celine Dion was the singer for Kaylee's character because the woman who voiced Kaylee couldn't sing, so Celine Dion was involved. Like what? What is
Carrie
this?
Elwes is in it.
Yeah, like this is a bonkers movie. Like I love that, and yeah, it just never came across my radar at all.
Yeah.
Like this is the first time I've seen this movie, and it's great. Yeah, like what I particularly loved is when they drew Ruber, like his eyes kept changing. So like he genuinely looked insane, which was such a cool little detail that you don't pick up normally.
Yeah, his eyebrows do that little caterpillar movement all the time.
Oh yeah, just proper unhinged villain, which was just super fun. And I loved his little metal men. They were great too. They were super funny. Yeah. So why do you think this did poorly? Because I can't see it.
It's not great. Let's be like, I can be honest. I love it. I think it's amazing. Camelot's entire defense relies on one sword.
Yeah, it's not great.
Like King Arthur's sword gets stolen and Merlin's like, your people will take care of it. Where's this faith coming from, Merlin?
Yeah, I love how Merlin did not lift a finger to help in any of this.
He was like, don't worry, My falcon is on it.
Yeah. Silverwing, take out that griffin who's like 50 times your side. It'll be
Yeah.
fine. You can do it. You can do it, dog.
And to her credit, I mean, she kills it.
Yeah, yeah. So that was really funny, and it's just the fact that, like, you know, obviously you've got these metal men and everything, and the ending with the stone and like getting the sword back in the stone just completely undoes all magic.
Oh.
Is a little too broad.
Also, like, and I understand the messaging they were going for. So basically it separates Devon and Cornwall for a second, and they realize they don't actually want to be separated, and they hug, and then they get like reconjoined. But at no point does it restore Gareth's eyesight.
Right?
Which, like,
How annoying
again,
was that?
I think the whole point was like his character arc was that, you know, he's complete without his vision. Like, he doesn't need it to be part of society and stuff. But like, damn, give him the option, you guys.
Yeah, that would have been really sweet. Like, everyone else got exactly what they wanted, and fucking Garrett is just like, I guess I guess I don't get that choice. That's fine. I'm happy with that.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
You can literally separate organic matter from machine, but you can't give me my corneas back.
But he got what he wanted. He got the girl, which, I mean, he didn't really want, but he got her anyway.
Not
And then he also
really.
became a knight.
He was very grumpy.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and again,
I
like,
do...
that love story is very forced because she's quite irritating to him, and he's quite a jerk back to her. And then, like, suddenly their hands brush or whatever, and they're like, oh.
All this time.
Yeah, all these 10 hours.
I mean, she gets him shot with an arrow, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry."
And he's like,
then,
"This is actually
she falls in love.
really doing it for me."
Yeah, I love it when my women mortally injure me.
Yeah.
That's what I'm about.
It also, I think, kind of detracts from the girl power sentiment if
Yes.
she can't complete her mission without the help of an actual blind man.
That's how useless she is.
Yeah, and not to say like, oh, you know, the blind guy's so useless, but like she needs him because like it's not that. It's just like at the end of the day, she still needed a dude to come rescue her.
Yeah, yeah, an incompetent dragon and a dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an unfortunate turn, and actually, I mean, we'll go into this, I guess, and then we can return to talking about it. But that is actually my scene that could have saved it. It would have been great if it was just a one-on-one Kaylee versus Ruba, like, and that's how she does it. And then, you know, instead of being just a knight of the round table, she's like made Arthur's advisor, since Merlin can't do shit. You know, actually get a decent advisor in there.
Actually, the bird becomes his advisor.
That bird is super useful and would be much better than Merlin was.
So much better.
Oh, what was Merlin doing? Come on, guy. Like, you know, Ruba literally has magic, and you're like, I've got a wizard too, but I'm not gonna use him. This guy, he can sit out. You're fine, right?
Merlin, you take a break.
Good lord.
What was your favorite song?
Ooh, it's got to be Ruba's evil song, because it just spoke to me so much, and I just could not stop thinking of him just like as this like very cool. He probably is the guy who came up with "Be Gay, Do Crime."
Yeah.
Yeah. What was your favorite song?
I want to say "If I Didn't Have You," but I've also had the worst song in the whole movie, "Fly on My Father's Wings," on a loop in my head, and I can't get rid of it.
Oh no, that's a curse. Why?
Yeah, and then obviously at one point the mom is singing the prayer, which is quite a famous song, and it's a really strange move to make that song like the song of the movie.
Yeah,
like it was a real leap.
Yeah, I love early 90s movies like this that do that are just like, right, we're gonna put all of our money on this song,
this ballad,
and hope for the best. Yeah, and hope for the best. And maybe that's why this movie didn't get sort of like a worldwide sort of Toy Story level love.
I doubt that's the reason.
Yeah, like, let's be honest, that's the only thing that separates this from Toy Story.
Yeah. That's the only thing, yes.
So what is your scene that could have saved this?
Oh god. honestly, I would have liked more from Ruber because he was just so
Yeah.
much fun, and he spends a lot of the time being very beleaguered by his stupid henchmen. But I want to know how he got there. Like, how did he learn the forbidden arts? Why can he only work with stupid henchmen? Are all people in Camelot who are evil inherently stupid? That's not true. Like, maybe he meets up with someone who's evil and like really smart, and they're like, I can't get on board with your plan, dude. Like, this is really needlessly complicated. And he's like, screw you.
Yeah, that would have been cool. And I mean, especially with the whole magic angle, I guess. Like, he could have
Yeah.
like found the 3 fake witches and
Exactly.
done something with them. Like,
Chat
yeah.
to some fairies.
Oh, it would have been great. And
Yeah.
like, we could then see why he is so unhinged.
Exactly.
You know, so yeah, you have a really, really good point. And yeah, maybe we'll get a sequel, you know, what, 30 years later.
I wonder if there was a sequel. I feel like maybe I saw something about one, but it was, I mean, probably like straight to VHS.
Yeah, that's not a good screen time. No. But yeah, I think we should write it. The Return of Ruber.
Voiced by our dear friend David Alt.
Poor Gary Oldman. He's gonna miss out on this great opportunity for him.
You know what? We'll offer it to Gary first, obviously, as a
Okay.
courtesy, but you know, he's a busy guy.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So would you watch this again?
Probably.
Yeah.
Would you? Really?
Oh yeah, of course I would. Damn straight. I've missed out on 27 years of this film. I'm gonna be watching it a lot now.
But the only way to rewatch it is like when I was a child, you have a bootleg copy on VHS.
Oh my
And you
god.
just keep winding that tape back and watching it and rewinding it and watching it.
Oh damn. I can imagine that tape looked real blurry by the end
Oh,
of
it was a
end of your
handwritten
childhood.
label.
Oh my god. That's so precious and wonderful.
90% of the VHS tapes we had in my house where it was like my dad recording them off TV, you know?
Yeah. So they've got the ads and everything.
Yeah, because like, you know, you've got like, there was like ETV on like a Sunday afternoon and my dad would just like record the ETV movie.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, that's, you see, all of these wonderful things, like our children will never get to enjoy those
Yeah.
really inconvenient.
Do they even understand
really
what I mean
difficult
when I
things.
say rewind the tape?
We will teach them. We will be those horrible old school parents who will teach them how to do VHS and tapes, like normal 8-track tapes.
Okay.
Right. Well, thank you so much for bringing this to my attention, Simone. I do appreciate it. It's changed my life.
I'm glad. Okay.
All right. Tell me about the Princess Swan.
So this isn't going to be a synopsis so much as me telling you about the movie with all the gushing that I have in my life about this movie
Fair.
because I love it
Fair.
so much and it still really holds up for me.
Yeah. I can see why it would hold up.
I mean, it's perfect, so so okay. King William, played by Dakin Matthews, spends a long time hoping for a daughter. Eventually, his daughter Odette is born, played by Michelle Nicastro. He and distant kingdom ruler Queen Uberta, played by Sandy Duncan, decide that Odette and her son Prince Derek, played by Howard McGillen, should get married once they're grown up. But because they're quite progressive, they want their kids to choose each other instead of doing an arranged marriage. So they do the second best thing, which is force their kids to spend every summer together their whole childhood. Which is not overbearing or...
No, it tracks. It's very liberal. Very
it's
liberal.
very liberal for the time. So Derek and Odette have to spend every summer together and they resent the hell out of it. They hate it. They have this whole childhood rivalry. They just talk about how annoying the other person is all the time until one day they're both forced into the same ballroom, I guess, to start off the summer. And they look into each other's eyes and they're like, oh my God,
Oh shit.
they've gotten so hot. Derek's like, Odette used to be super ugly and now she's beautiful. Odette's like, oh, like Derek's like not that bad, actually. They do a dance. They're like ready to fall in love. Derek drops the ball at the last minute. Everybody's very upset with him. Odette's like, listen, I'm so sorry. You did fuck this up though. And his mom's like, yeah, he did. So as she's leaving, she and her dad get attacked by an evil wizard named Sir Rothbard. He was banished from Odette's kingdom ages and ages ago because he wanted to take over the kingdom. And King William was like, no. But he's learned magic in the meantime. So he uses magic to basically kill King William and kidnap Odette. By the time Derek hears about it, it's too late. Odette is missing, presumed dead, and King William is actually dead. Derek regrets every mistake he's ever made and devotes himself to finding Odette and rescuing her with only one clue, which is it's not what it seems. So we cut to seeing what Odette is up to. This movie's based on Swan Lake, so essentially she's cursed to be a swan in the daytime. She turns into a human at nighttime, but only if she's on the lake, and she'll always turn back into a swan once daytime hits, whether she's on the lake or not. The only way to break the curse is for her to either marry Rothbard, so he breaks the curse with his magic, or she has to kiss the one she loves, and then he has to declare a vow of undying love and prove it to the world. It's very specific, but also extremely vague. I think from a law standpoint, Chad, you would agree.
Yeah,
there's a lot of room for interpretation.
Wizardry lore is very, very obtuse. Like it's look, like it's my specialty. It's what I'm writing my PhD on. But yeah, we don't have time for that. Yeah.
Okay, this is like a whole thesis in itself.
Yeah.
But she has good friends, a frog named Jean-Bob, voiced by John Cleese, Speed, the tortoise, played by Stephen Wright, and Puffin, the cutest little Puffin, voiced by Steve Vinovich. Together, they hatch a plan to steal a map from Rothbard's castle. She uses the map to figure out where she is. She tries to track down Derek. There's a little bit of awkward back and forth because Derek thinks that maybe she's the monster. Again, the king could have left a slightly better clue. Would have avoided a lot of confusion. But eventually, she manages to tell Derek about the curse. Derek's like, okay, cool, we can solve this. Tell you what, come to the ball my mom is holding tomorrow night to get me to move on from you. You show up, I'll make this vow, everything will be great. And Odette's like, sick. Unfortunately, Rothbard hears the whole thing and he's like, small problem for you. There's no moon tomorrow night, so you won't change into a human. And she's like, oh, duh.
Those fucking technicalities, man.
Yeah, and then Rothbard is apparently now super sick of Odette. He's ready for her to die. So he sends a fake Odette in her place to the castle because if Derek makes a vow to the wrong woman, Odette dies. This was not specified to begin with. It feels like he's kind of making stuff up on the fly.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what kind of contract did he write for this spell? Big back and forth, but unfortunately Derek makes a vow to the wrong women. He realizes his mistake at once because Rothbard obviously comes to gloat. He runs all the way back to the lake where Odette lays dying, and Derek is super pissed, so he decides he's going to fight Rothbard, who turns into a giant bat with the help of Odette's friends and his best friend Bromley, played by you'll be surprised by this. It's Joel McKinnon Miller, who plays Hitchcock in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fun little Easter egg
Unbelievable.
for you.
Shit, that's just blown my mind.
Yeah. So with the help of his friends, he defeats Rothbard, and because he makes a beautiful vow and declaration of love to Odette, she survives, and they live happily ever after. Yeah.
I mean, oh, wow. Look, your face is, you're so unbelievably happy, and it's just so wonderful to see.
Everlasting love, guys.
There it is. So I know what you're seeing, what your cliffhanger is, and it has to be this one. And it's the one where he's like, "You're so beautiful," and she's like, "What else?" Right? Yes.
Yes, that's exactly it. That is
so.
Iconic.
It is. It is so perfect, and to get this from like a 90s film is insane.
And especially what I love
cool.
about it is she's like, so graceful and sweet and kind. and gracious and stuff. So he's like, "Oh, you're so beautiful. We should get married." And she's like, "Thanks, but also like just
What
out of
else?
curiosity, like what is there anything else that you like about me?"
You could almost see like two sports presenters be like, "Oh, and there's the drop. Let's hope this young rookie does not foul this shot." And then he goes, "Is there anything else?" And it's like, "Oh, you hate to see it from
His
the young
mom's
rookie."
reaction immediately, where she just bursts into tears after he says that. First of all, Queen Uberta is so underrated
Oh,
as a
yeah.
character. She's
Oh yeah.
so funny.
It's so good. Like everyone in this movie is just bloody wonderful, and it's just delightful the whole way through. Also, notice how both of these movies have Scottish, not Scottish, ginger evil guys who learn magic. Just
Yeah.
want to point that out.
Also, evil guys, again, this is another villain who doesn't really have a plan.
No, he just kind of does things.
Like at first he's like, he like tries to take over the kingdom and he's like soundly defeated, and then he's like, "I'll get you." So he learns magic, and instead of like moving on with his life and being really successful with
Yeah.
his magic, he's like, "No, specifically I'm gonna kidnap this woman, and now even though I've got magic, I want to legitimately be a king, so I want to ask her to marry me, and the best way to do that is to curse her."
Yeah, it all
And
tracks. I
eventually she's
mean,
like, "No, I'm gonna actually marry this hot guy who I spent my whole life with." And he's like, "Oh, well, now I'm gonna just murder you." And I don't know what his plan is after that, but he's very chuffed with himself.
dude is very clearly like very powerful.
Yeah.
Like he creates whole castles just from his magics,
Yeah.
and he turned this crazy woman into like a swan
Yeah.
at night. Like it's a very like technical spell if you think about it, because it's sort of just like, all right, moonlight has to be coupled with lake in order
Yeah.
for swan to
Yeah.
happen. That's pretty complex. Like so dude could have had like like you said, a really successful career. He didn't need the kingdom. I mean, even if he like, he could have signed a deal and been like, he could have come back and be like, "Listen, king, I know I killed you, like tried to kill you before. I know things were bad then, but look how powerful I am." And then like snaps his fingers and creates a brand new tower. And then he's like, "I can help you. I could be your advisor."
Yeah.
But instead he's just like, "Let's marry that girl."
And you guys, this is why it's always great to see a therapist and work on your inner rage rather than on revenge.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's called the Avengers, not the Revengers. just putting that out there. So what drew you to this movie? Because I mean, this is a
Oh,
you week. So what took you?
Probably watched this movie more than any other movie in my childhood, except for maybe like Power Rangers. I love this movie on every level, and you know what, it holds up. Like I was delighted watching it this week as I was watching it 10 years ago, as I was watching it 20 years ago. It's great. It's really pretty, first of all.
Yeah.
Apparently this was one of the last animated movies to be made like old school style, like
Right.
pen,
Like the
paper, cells,
painted,
and-
yeah.
which is quite cool.
That is cool.
The music's really fun. Odette's a great princess. Like she's really beautiful and stuff, but she's also like, you know, she comes up with a plan to get the map. She's really kind to all of her friends, and you know, helps, like they help her with the plan. She helps them figure out the plan. She's really brave. And like she's just really cool. Honestly, Derek's kind of a dum-dum.
Yeah,
Like
Derek
this
sucks.
castle, Rothbard's castle isn't far from his.
Yeah.
Like
He
it's
gets there in, like,
really
what,
not
an
far
hour?
at all.
No.
And
No.
she has to like Odette's the one who has to like find the map, figure out where she is, go to Derek. He's like, "Oh, do I shoot the swan?" And she's like, "No." And then she manages to lead him back to the lake, where he's like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" And she's like, "It's okay, I've got a plan. Here's what you need to do." And he's like, "Okay, yeah, you just need to come to this ball." And like fucks that up.
What?
Like he's a bit of a dum-dum. He's very
Yeah.
athletic, but
Yeah, he's a typical jock, like without
Yeah.
question. And it does feel like he learns absolutely nothing from this, because in the end it's just sort of, again, like he knows nothing new about her. Like the whole arc of the movie is that one sentence of, "Okay, what else apart from my beauty do you like?" And there is no conclusion to
to be
that
fair,
arc.
in his speech as he's holding her dying, he talks about how much he likes her kindness and her courage.
Oh, Okay, fair enough. All right, maybe I missed that because I was just so mad at how much of a dum-dum he is.
It's so dumb.
And how the true hero is his best friend.
Bromley.
Bromley comes through at the end. You know,
Mhm.
he has the best character arc because he's
He
like,
finds his
it's very
courage.
good made. Yeah, exactly. He finds his courage. He says that he's really like afraid of everything, and then he comes through, which is beautiful to watch.
Yeah.
And oh man, the sidekicks in this as well though, like
Rogers, the what, I don't know, I guess he's like
Oh,
the
yeah.
staff manager or something at the castle. Just
but also the conductor.
sass.
He's very cool. He's very, very cool. Sort of like feels like he's secretly in love with the prince as well. And that's great. I appreciate that. Who wouldn't be? He's very handsome, but there's
I
nothing
think
else
he
to
and
him.
Uberta vibe a little bit towards the end there.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. But yeah, like, you know, the turtle is just such a sweetie. Like
Sean
it's just
Bobby,
that slow
I
chat.
love Puffin. His little Scottish accent, he's so feisty.
He's the feisty bird. And like I honestly, that scene where the prince is chasing Odette back to the thing and like the puffin gets in the way, I thought the puffin was gonna get shot again, and I was like, if this character dies, because that's the difference, like 90s and 80s kids films, they did not give a fuck about our feelings. Like, so if a main character died, that was it. That's fine. Who gives a shit about your mental health as a child? So yeah, I full on expected that puffin to die.
No, Puffin's
And I'm very
fine.
happy
He's
that he
okay.
But Puffin's fine, so it's good. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, what is your scene that could have saved this bad boy?
Nothing. It's a perfect movie.
You look at me like I'm a crazy person.
I know
for
there have been
even
a lot of
suggesting it.
criticisms. I know like a lot of people are like, oh, so like Odette's cursed and suddenly she's like way into Derek again and not mad at him anymore. And it's like, yeah, she knew he was being a dum-dum when he was like, what else is there? Like, she knows he likes her for more than that. She also just knows he's really stupid. And I assume her plan was to be like, hey, you fucked this up. I'm gonna go back to my kingdom. Think about yourself. We'll sort this out.
Yeah, she seems pretty reasonable. I could
Yeah.
see that happening had her father not been, you know, killed.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah.
she still loved him. She was just, you know, making him work.
Yeah, that's fair. I would have loved to see, and this isn't my scene that could have saved it. This is just my brain. Just like the politics behind like Odette's kingdom, because obviously Odette's missing, her father's been killed. So like, what is happening in their
True.
kingdom right now? Like, is there a power grab because of this vacuum that's being created? Like,
Yeah.
why didn't the evil guy just go straight back and be like, the king is dead, long live the king, and then just automatically take it over? Like, there's no like succession plan here.
That's true. And I'm pretty sure like, because there are a couple of sequels to this. I think I watched the one sequel after. It's not good. They're not great. But like, you know, she marries Derek and then she's just helping him rule his kingdom. Like, I have no fucking clue what happened to hers at all.
I guess during this period, like her kingdom just crumbled to dust. And so she's like, right, well, I guess I have to marry
Some
you.
other like a really competent aristocrat just picked up the slack and was like, don't worry, I've got this.
Yeah, she still gets an income for it
Yeah.
to keep her hair so damn luscious.
She has incredible hair.
It may be my favorite Disney princess hair of all time. It's perfect.
That's like the ideal Disney princess hair, really.
Yeah, 100%. But I disagree with you. There is a scene that could have saved this, and it's just the fact that he needs to learn more about her, and it needs to become like really blatantly obvious. Like, even if it's just like something really dumb, like she has to sneeze 3 times every time she sneezes. Like, even if it's just like a little thing, I would have fucking loved that. Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, that's
something
true.
real.
Like, if you just appreciated the little air, because I mean, they spend every single summer together.
Yeah,
like he knows a lot of weird shit about her.
Yeah, exactly.
Surely.
Like if he had just like, as she's lying dying, just like, but what I really love about you the most is that you laugh uncontrollably at monkeys in suits.
So you wanted you wanted like the when Harry met Sally, that little speech at the end. Okay.
Yes,
okay,
that is
you know what? I
exactly
can
what
get
I
behind
wanted.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it would have been perfect. Yeah. So I mean, obviously you would watch this again, correct?
Right now, I'll watch it right now, Chad. Let's stop this recording.
So this is like going to be the first thing that you show your kids one day.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's the first thing I'll show anyone.
I have a question for you with these movies, actually,
Oh.
because there's not a huge amount of years that separate you and your sister,
Yeah.
but like, were these part of her childhood as
Oh,
well, or
yeah.
was it strictly?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
fantastic!
No, I was telling
Okay.
her that I watched these, and she was like, "Oh, damn, I love both of those." I mean, especially Swan Princess, like that
Mhm.
holds up pretty strongly for both of us. But
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, we spent a lot of time together when we were kids, so stuff that she watched obsessively was stuff that I watched obsessively, and
Mhm.
vice versa.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
We should have actually got her on for this episode, and then we could have talked
It would
about
have
your
been too much
childhood traumas.
excitement.
I would have just sat here in silence while you two just
Yeah,
gushed over
just
these
screamed.
2 movies. Well, Simone, this has been a really nice entrance into your childhood. It
My
has been
mind.
the most fun to learn about this. Have you had a fun week learning, re going into your childhood?
I really have. It was very pleasant, actually. I had
Mhm.
a lovely, delightful week. Yeah.
I think what's very nice about this week, especially with your childhood, is like these movies haven't been ruined by the passage of time.
Yeah.
There's no sort of like blackface, like
Yeah,
and
exactly.
horrible shit like that is in the original Dumbo and things
Yeah.
like that. So the fact that these 2 movies hold up is, thank God.
Oh my God. Honestly,
Yeah.
probably if there was some movie from my childhood that didn't hold up, I wouldn't have picked it. I'm trying to think of one, but I mean, it doesn't come to mind straight away. Maybe Fantasia. I liked Fantasia as a kid, and there was that awkward centaur
Oh,
segment.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, you chose good. You chose well. And yeah, you can see the respectable, feisty young lady that you have become these days.
Thanks. Chad, what are we doing next week? Because we're doing your childhood next week, right?
Yes, we are. I think it's only fair that we go into the forbidden forest of my mind and go through my childhood. Now, this was an incredible experience trying to figure this out for next week, because the only movies I remember from like my childhood are like Hercules, Pocahontas,
Oh yeah.
And like Black Beauty for some reason, even though I hate horses so
I
much.
hate horse movies.
They're the worst.
I know. That's why we don't do them.
No, not ever. Never, ever will we do those. So yeah, and obviously those 3 are really good movies, so it was very difficult.
Yeah.
But then my mum mentioned The Pebble and the Penguin, which I didn't remember a thing about until I saw the picture of it. And it just flooded back like it is doing to you right now.
It's like, yeah, it's fuzzy, but I definitely watched that.
Yes,
It's a bit of a
right?
Christmas movie too, isn't it?
I think so, but I don't 100% remember.
Okay.
So
and it's this little like purple
confirm.
penguin.
Yes, I think
Let
so.
me
And there's an
just- let me
evil penguin who
Google
wears a cape.
The poster, because this is
Yes.
blowing my mind.
I love the fact that we're going back to our childhoods. Like, guys,
Yeah, I think this
listeners
is what we
out there.
need.
Yeah,
Oh,
listeners out there,
yes.
2020. Yeah? Yeah,
Okay.
you feeling it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember that.
Okay. Oh my god.
So we're gonna do The Pebble and the Penguin. And now I couldn't remember if we had done this before on the podcast, so I've got a backup just in case we haven't. But the original Power Rangers movie.
No, I don't think we have. I think we only did
Okay.
the latest
The newer one.
Okay.
Okay,
You must
cool.
just send me exactly which one, because there are a couple.
Yeah, there are a couple, but it's the one with Ivan Ooze. I will send you the year, but it's the
I
Ivan
used to
Ooze
watch
one.
that all the time too. So
So good. So good. Yes. So we're doing the Pebble and the Penguin and Power Rangers. It's the P episode, everyone.
that's a great thing to call your childhood episode, Chad.
Yeah, well, I peed everywhere. It's fine. Like,
Oh.
it's what it is. You know, I was a fire hydrant type of child, apparently, allegedly. You know, my parents aren't embarrassing at all when they bring that up in front of my girlfriends. It's absolutely fine, and why I'm still single. So on that note, what is your optimistic thing for this week, Simone?
Optimistic thing. I'm gonna be honest, this was a rough week to be like, minus all the movies and stuff. This was just an unpleasant week. But you know what
Yep.
I do enjoy is mac and cheese.
Ooh, yeah.
It's a great meal. It's carby and fatty, and you can put hot sauce with it. You can put mushrooms with it if you want, and you're a boring vegetarian like me. You can have ribs with it if you're Rudy.
Wow, Rudy goes all out. He ain't fucking around.
It's just is there anything more comforting than a nice, saucy mac and cheese?
No, you're 100% right.
Mhm.
Do you like a little bit of like the crusty, crispy bit on top
I
of
like to
yours?
bake it a
Yeah.
little and get that
Oh,
crisp
yeah,
on top.
yeah. I learned a really interesting trick from Jamie Oliver that I use with my lasagnas, but you could do it for mac and cheese as well. Is put breadcrumbs on top, and it will make it super duper crispy and toasty. Oh yeah, you're way ahead of me and Jamie. So there you go.
Suck it, Jamie.
Suck it, Jamie. That's great. He's gonna come for you.
He's a British icon. I shouldn't go after him, but here I am.
But like what really confuses me is the Americans, and this isn't anything against our American listeners, but mac and cheese is like a side for Americans. That's insane, right?
Mac and cheese is the main, and maybe you have like a salad on the side.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy that you guys do that. Like, don't get me wrong, I think your ingenuity has no bounds, but yeah, it's pretty crazy. So nice.
Do you think that was the main thing that drove the British to be like, you know what? You keep your independence. This is we're not interested anymore. Thank you so much. Because that's what happened in history, right? Yeah. The British were just like, we'll go quietly.
That's what the British have always done. It's just, you know what, you can have your land back very peaceably. We don't want to have any sort of troubles or anything. If
Hamilton has taught me nothing.
Well, did you know that, like, I could actually kind of see that because Jefferson really fucking loved macaroni. Like, he was obsessed with it. He actually created a macaroni making machine, and the White House was just filled with it all the time. He served it at every White House dinner. Like, Jefferson fucking went nuts for macaroni.
Was this from How to Punch Presidents or How to Fight Presidents that you're reading? Is that how you know this?
I mean, I don't want to cite my sources because they are that ridiculous, but yes, it is from How to Fight Presidents, and it's also from Drunk History. But yes, he went crazy for the macaronis.
Oh, today I learned. Okay.
Yeah. So there you go. There you go. That's probably why the British was like, yeah, King George was just like, nah, you
get crazy.
Stay where you are. That's fine. Oh man.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're done?
Well, my optimistic thing this week, like you said, it has been it's been a week, and we are going into lockdown 2, Too Fast, Too Furious, which should be super duper fun. But before that, I did a bit of a naughty thing, and I visited a friend who lives, about 2 hours away from me, but it was really nice. We had a really lovely time. We kept social distance and things, and so it was really nice. And it was good to see her. Yeah, you
got to see your friends when you can, apparently.
Yeah, that's not a given anymore. It's a fucking luxury in 2020 and 2021. We had such high hopes for these next 10 years, Simone, and two of them already.
Our New Year's Day episode where we were just wondering what the year had in store for us, and we were so wrong.
So innocent and dumb. We were dumb, stupid dummies, and I'm angry at myself for being so dumb and stupid.
I mean, how could you predict a global pandemic?
That's true, but I think when we do this again in at 2029. And we're like, oh, what's 2030 gonna bring us? We just don't say anything. We don't bring it on.
I'm never speculating that again. And frankly, in job interviews, if they're like, oh, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? They deserve to be shot in the face.
I completely agree with you. That is an insane question to ask now. Yeah. I mean, hopefully alive. I think that's a fair answer, right?
I don't know. At another job that pays me slightly better than this job, adjusting for inflation.
Holding this rope of a guillotine in my hand while we chop off George Bezos's head. That's where I see myself in 5 years.
Normal stuff.
Yeah. And on that insane note, thank you guys for listening. We really do appreciate it. Tell us what movies you enjoyed from your childhood. We're dying to hear what formed your formative years and how you grew up with the magic of TV and movies. Mm-hmm. And where can they do that, Simone?
They can talk to us on Facebook or Instagram at Fresh Tomatoes Podcast, on Twitter at Fresh Tomatoes MP. They can email us at freshtomatoespodcast@gmail.com.
There you go, guys. And we really do appreciate you listening to us. If you are in the UK and you're going back into a lockdown, it's going to be hard on all of us. But we're here with you. We're here with you every Tuesday and Thursday to fill your ears with mediocre comedy and hilarious anecdotes. And yeah, as we say at the end of every week, we love you and there's nothing you can do about it.
We love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Goodbye.